Shalom, call hello, Yahweh, Hashem, Yahweh, Shabbat, Hashem, Kodash. Double honors to the elder apostles and elder bishops of GMS, including the elders that came before them that taught us the truth. And shalom and salutations to all the brothers out pushing the word in truth and in sincerity, the hopeful elect tabernacle of David. I'm the brother Yahshua. I'm back with the WW3 Daily Update. Shalom and salutations to you as well. We're going to start right here with this mushroom cloud in Isaiah 34 and 4. And all the host of heaven shall be dissolved. That's that nuke. And the heavens shall be rolled together as a scroll. That's the mushroom cloud. And all their host means armies, shall fall down as the leaf falleth off from the vine, and as a falling fig from a fig tree. Okay? All right, so the nuclear bombs and what they look like is in the scriptures. That's the point. All right. And here is Nate, right? And there's a mushroom cloud. And there's debate as to whether this is a tactical nuke, attack nuke, right? Could it be? It might not. But the point is that they're coming, because this is how the world is going to end. The world as we know it is going to come to an end through the use of nuclear bombs. Plain and simple. It's in the scriptures. And we'll read it towards the end. But I'm going to let this guy talk and scare you, right? 19 hours ago, Canadian prepper. Breaking news, mushroom cloud in West Ukraine, right? And it's not in West Ukraine. It's in Eastern Ukraine, I believe. NATO prepares intervention, 24 hours of carnage. All right, so we're getting close, right? The implication of this video, according to this guy, is that we're getting close, right? We're getting close to we're moving from conventional weapons, which is small arms and mortars and tanks, and now we're about to move into more unconventional forms of war as World War III progresses, or we move into the actual declaration of war, which is coming soon according to the scriptures. All right, let's get that real quick. All right, and we'll get the nukes later. This is Revelation 11. What's coming soon? What's coming quickly? We'll just read it in the Berean. Revelation 11 and 14, the second woe, that's Second World War, has passed. Right, 43, I believe it was. Behold, the third woe is coming shortly. Right? Is coming soon, is coming quickly, is soon to come, coming shortly, quickly, cometh. Right? And the third one will be here soon. Back to Nate and the nukes. The mushroom cloud. Listen to his language. 19 hours ago. And they're not showing this on mainstream media.
All right, so the mushroom cloud that you're seeing behind me here is foreshadowing. This is World War III. This is what it's going to look.
And this is the heavens rolling together as a scroll. All right, let's look at it again. Watch it. This is the heavens rolling together as a scroll, like we just read. All right. So the prophecies are coming to pass.
All right, so the mushroom cloud that you're seeing behind me here is foreshadowing. This is World War III. This is what it's going to look like. This detonation happened just a few hours ago in the western part of Ukraine. This is an ammunition depot that was taken out, possibly by a Shahed drone by the Russians, maybe a Caliber, maybe a Kinzhal. I don't really know. Regardless, it's a big explosion, and it's foreshadowing, I do believe. I think we're going to see this, but non-conventional, the way things are going, because according to some sources, they're speculating that the Ukrainians might actually try to invade along the Eastern Russian Front. Okay, we're talking about Bryansk, Belgorod, Kursk. We're talking about a replay of World War II all over again. The Germans are going to be sending $3 billion worth of weapons, an additional $3 billion. Okay, we have F-22 Raptors going to the Baltic states who've completely altered their strategy from last year. Last year, they had a strategy that if the Russians invaded, they would kind of just let them invade and then NATO would come to the rescue afterwards. Now they're forming this defensive line. You got troops doing exercises along the Suwalki Gap, 3,000 NATO troops currently training along the Suwalki Gap that connects Belarus to Kaliningrad. You got HIMARS on the Kaliningrad border. You have Poland, who's doing a massive military buildup just in general. You have them renaming the Russian exclave of Kaliningrad in a Polish name, of course, foreshadowing perhaps. Finland just became a part of NATO. That border is starting to become heavily militarized. They're putting in fencing and the whole 9 yards. You have Moscow, who, of course, is continuously rolling out more aerial defense systems. They even have a drone task force designated for resisting drones now with electromagnetic guns. And this is turning into this is World War III. If the Ukrainians' counteroffensive, which it appears as though it has actually begun, we're going to talk about dissension in the ranks on the Bakhmut front. We're going to talk about the incursions into Russian airspace today, taking out of a few Russian planes, 2 warplanes, 2 helicopters, which is fairly substantial for one day in a war like this. They don't know if that's friendly fire or if it was the Ukrainians. You have the Ukrainians using their long-range missiles now, going deeper into Russian territory in Luhansk, possibly even targeting places in the Russian Federation. And that means that this is getting very, very close. We're just one incident away. And I know I keep saying that, but you have to understand that it appears as though these levels of gradation, that the bar keeps getting moved in terms of the red lines. But eventually there's going to be that one time where we lose the game of Russian roulette. And what's likely going to happen is it might not be a nuclear demonstration first. It's likely going to be Russia taking out a spy plane, taking out a NATO base, taking out a UK asset, some training center, just to send a message, and then the ball is in our court. What we will likely do, if you believe David Petraeus, is we'll do an all-out attack on Russian forces in the eastern part of Ukraine that they currently occupy, and that's when it's on. Okay, so this is foreshadowing. This only ends one way, okay, because Putin has a arrest warrant out from the International Criminal Court, not recognized by the United States. It doesn't matter. It's recognized by enough countries around the world that it's very likely that in his lifetime he's never going to be able to safely go anywhere outside his borders again, unless it's to one of his closely allied states. Okay, so that means that this either ends with Putin gone, meaning that his place will be taken by somebody who is far more aggressive, and almost everyone, it seems, that's surrounding this guy is calling on him to be more aggressive in his approach. Now, the reason why the Russians are doing what they're doing, according to some military strategists, is...
We're the military strategists. We know what the Most High is making them do. God is making the Russians do what they're doing. He's stirring them up. Yahweh Bahashim Yahushua is stirring up the Medes. All right? And nobody's in control of themselves. They're being controlled like robots. Okay?
They are putting on a defensive front because they don't have to expend as much manpower. They're inviting the Ukrainians to attack their defensive lines because typically in war, there's a 3-to-1 advantage for the defenders, meaning that if you have an army of 1,000 and you want to do an offensive, if the other guy has about 350 troops, they're at parity because, of course, you lose more when you're doing an offensive. Okay, so the idea is that if the Russians can invite the Ukrainians to do an offensive, that the attritional rate for them is going to be much higher because the Ukrainians are relying pretty much solely right now on Western aid. There's the theory that they can burn out and exhaust the Ukrainian military, and then once that's done, the Russians can go do their offensive, take Odessa, possibly take Kiev, take right up to the part of the Western country that doesn't get annexed by Poland, and that's going to be the end of the game, basically. And they're going to sustain fewer losses as a result of that. That's one theory of how this is going to play out. Now, it depends, though, on what, if Ukraine knows that's the strategy, then that really leaves them with fewer choices. Now they have the Storm Shadow missiles. They're going to start targeting the Kerch Bridge. Yes, the Russians have good air defense, but they could foreseeably overwhelm those defenses, sneak 2 or 3 missiles by, take out the Kerch Bridge, and that's when the real massive counteroffensive begins, because, of course, time is at the essence of that point, because that forms a supply chain bottleneck for the Russians. Anyways, guys, the shit's hitting the fan, okay? Things are falling apart on the Bakhmut front, depending on who you believe. I'm not there. Lots of people who are doing this technical analysis are not there either. You have Prigozhin, the private contractor mercenary who's loyal to Russia, right now appears to be exhibiting a lot of dissension in the ranks. We might even see some kind of coup. We might see a turncoat situation where he just, decides to jump ship and go and work for the Ukrainians. I can't see how that's going to happen at this point because he's taken so many of their lives. I don't think they're ever going to be open to anything like that, but you just never know at this point in time. Is it all theater? Apparently, he's going to be relieved by the Chechens soon, by Kadyrov and his Chechens. I don't think Kadyrov's going to go there and fight, but the Chechens are going to relieve them, the Russian Defense Ministry, and this makes perfect sense that you want to burn through your private mercenaries first because, of course, there's less liability there. They can be designated a terrorist organization. The Russian Defense Ministry doesn't necessarily have to take that on, so they don't have to deal with the United States even more than they currently are. But you also get to burn through all of your convicts because that's what the Wagner Group is going through right now. They're throwing all of their old convicts from all of their high security, maximum security prisons. They're giving them an ultimatum. You can serve life in prison for the crime that you did, whatever heinous crime you committed, or you can go into this meat grinder, most likely die in the first few hours or days. If you live, then, you get your freedom.
The enemy of my enemy, right? Anyway, because they're all a bunch of, what? Slavics? What do you want to call them? They're a bunch of Edomites fighting this white on white crime over there. They ain't going to say that. It takes a Negro to say what this really is. Oh, that's white on white crime. Right? And this ain't Chicago. What would an Edomite say about what's going on? Oh, that's black on black crime. Okay, I'll give you that. But look at this. Is this black on black crime? Who's got the firepower to do some shit like this? That would be the devil. No? All right, so the truth. Okay, there's black on black crime in South Central LA. That's not there. Chicago's not the only place. Okay, you show me this kind of fucking destruction in LA, Chicago, or otherwise. Okay? Anyway. Let's get out of here. You see this? How is the world as we know it gonna end? Nuclear annihilation. Okay. Let's see. The third woe. Let's just go here. No, we can't do that. Let's see. We'll go. Let's go to Zechariah. Zechariah 14 and 12. Yeah? 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 Zechariah 14 and 12. And this shall be the plague wherewith the Lord will smite all the people that have fought against Jerusalem. Their flesh shall consume away while they stand upon their feet, and their eyes shall consume away in their holes, and their tongue shall consume away in their mouth. What causes that? This causes, well, we don't know if this is a nuke or not, but a nuclear explosion causes that, right? This. A nuke causes their flesh to consume away while they stand upon their feet, and their eyes to melt. It will melt those things. Their eyes shall consume away in their mouth. Shall consume away in their holes, and their tongue shall consume away in their mouth. Let's get 2 Peter 3. The day of the Lord. What's going to happen? This is the missiles. But the day of the Lord will come as a thief in the night, in the which the heavens shall pass away with a great noise. The end of the world as we know it, the heavens, right? And the elements shall melt with fervent heat. How? That's how your eyes consume away in their holes and your tongue consume away. The elements shall melt with fervent. What causes that? Those nukes. The earth also and the works therein shall be what? Burned up, right? Seeing then that all these things shall be dissolved, right? Those nukes are going to dissolve shit, starting with your soft tissue. What manner of persons ought ye to be in all holy conversation and godly, looking for and hastening unto the coming of the day of the Lord, wherein the heavens being on fire shall be dissolved, that's the nukes, and the elements shall melt with fervent heat. We're getting close. We are getting close to that day where this whole of Babylon the Great is going to be on fire. Right? Let's get one more. Let's get the end. Revelation 11 and 12. And they heard a great voice from heaven saying unto them, Come up hither. And they ascended up to heaven in a cloud. And their enemies beheld them. Right? In the same hour was there a great earthquake. What earthquake? This earthquake right here. This is going to cause when 200 million missiles all go off at the same time, it's going to cause a great earthquake. What 200 million missiles? What 200 million missiles? There's no 200 million missiles. That's what the scriptures say. In the same hour was there a great earthquake, and the 10th part of the city fell. What does it mean, the 10th part of the city? All 10 all 10 zip codes right here in the U.S. And in the earthquake were slain of men 7,000. What is meant by 7,000? The complete number. Everyone that didn't ascend up to heaven in a cloud, all of them were what? Slain. What does it mean, slain? They were killed. In what? 200 million. What is 200,000 thousand? 200,000 thousand. $200,000 thousand. I can give it to me. It's going to make me work for it. Revelation 9 and 16. The number of the army of horsemen were 200,000 thousand. And I heard the number of them. Let's read it up here. The number of the mounted troops, that's the missiles, was twice 10,000 times 10,000, or 200 million mounted troops. 200 million nuclear missiles. That's not 200 million missiles. Or let's say nuclear warheads. How many licks does it take to get to the center of a Tootsie Roll Tootsie Pop? You know what the answer is? 3. 1, 2, 3. All right? 200 million warheads. How many warheads fit on one missile? A lot, apparently. So with that, we'll take another look at Nate. Look at this. Here's what's coming to America. Not Eddie Murphy. This is what's coming to America. If this isn't a nuke, guess what? The nukes are coming. So with that, all right, get yourself ready. All right, we hope that the elect were edified, you brothers and sisters, with that shalom.